What's up, guys? It's your boy Justin. As promised, I'm reviewing a Warhammer 40k book. Today we're reviewing the Ultramarines Omnibus by Graham McNeil, which this came out in 2006 and collects the first three books in the Ultramarines Omnibus. Nightbringer, which came out 2002, Warriors of Ultramar, which came out 2003, and Dead Sky Black Sun, right? This is published by the Black Library, which is like owned by Games Workshop. So if people, I don't want to waste too much time explaining what Warhammer 40k is. But for people who don't know what Warhammer 40k is, Warhammer 40k what was the spin-off of Warhammer, which is now called Warhammer Fantasy because Warhammer 40k became way more popular than it, unfortunately. And Warhammer 40k is a miniature war game, and here you can see some of the miniatures. This is a veteran sergeant, right, or just a regular sergeant. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played the game, right? And it's a game where you build and you paint miniatures and build armies, right, to fight other armies like the Dark Eldar here, right? Which are space space dark elves, right? Right. So, and the setting of Warhammer 40k is it takes place in the grim dark future where the Empire of humanity has what's the word? God damn it. Has colonized, that word, right? Colonized like millions of planets, right? Millions of planets, but they're beset by three enemies of mankind: the heretic, the Xeno, and the mutant, right? Right? And all the alien races want to kill and destroy humanity, right? But humanity has a secret weapon, right, to fight the Xenos and the heretics and the mutants, right? Space Marines, right? Which here's a Space Marine. I don't know if I'll focus. Which is a genetically engineered superhuman with a healing factor and enhanced strength and reflexes, right? They're supposed to be like 7 feet tall, right? And I think 7 feet tall, and they're supposed to weigh like half a ton or something. I can't remember, but yeah, right. So and there are lots of Space Marine chapters, right? And the Ultramarines is one of the most famous Space Marine chapters. It's probably the most well known, right? And to the point where like a lot of people who are into Warhammer 40k hate the Ultramarines because their gimmick, they have no gimmick other than, I think in the special rules, they're like the second best of everything, and because they're the second best of everything, right, they think they're the best, right? So yeah, this omnibus follows Captain Uriel Ventress, right, who leads a company of Ultramarines, right? The book starts off with a short story, right, where Uriel Ventress is still a sergeant, and it tells the story of his company's commander's last stand with Uriel Ventress, and how they fought and died fighting the Traitors Legions, Traitors Guardsmen, and the Chaos Space Marines known as the Night Lords, which are one of my favorite Chaos Space Marine Legions, right? Which is what they call the Chaos Space Marine chapters. They're called Legions, right? Yeah, and that tells the story of how Uriel Ventress became a captain. Right, he inherited his former captain's sword after he died. Right, so the first book, Nightbringer, tells the story of like Uriel Ventress' first mission given to him by Marnius Calgar, who is the chapter master of the Ultramarines. Which, if you ever looked at like artwork for Warhammer 40k, you've probably seen him. He's he's like a huge like uh, uh, Ultramarine with one glowing red eye and like close cropped white hair. Right, he has like huge like gauntlets. Right, which are I think they're called power fists. Right, and he bathes Uriel Ventress with a mission to go to the planet of Pavonis uh, to take down a band of Dark Elder pirates, which to the Empire, there's no real distinction between Eldar and Dark Eldar, which when there really is a huge distinction, because like the Eldar are more like the more peaceful aliens, I think, and where the Dark Eldar are like like they're pirates. They love to torture people. That's the thing with this book. Not only is it a dark sci-fi action book, but it's also horror themed, like lots of gore and violence, torture, mayhem, demons, right? And the story for the first book is that Uriel Ventress is tasked by Marnius Calgar to take this um, what he thought was supposed to be like a pencil pusher to Pavonis to like take care of the Dark Elder pirates, which here's one of them, right? Right. And also deal with the planet, because they're not giving the Empire its due. They're right. But it turns out that the agents um, that Uriel Ventress took of him is actually a member of the Inquisition, and that that there are forces at work on Pavonis that want to resurrect um, this this ancient alien which is actually called a Necron. Which Necrons are like a race of robot skeleton warriors, right? And they have a spaceship called the Nightbringer, which can basically suck the life out of planets, dooming solar systems, right? Right. Hence why it's called Nightbringer, because it kills suns, right? And the second book, Warriors of Ultramar, our heroes have to help defend the planet of Tarsus Ultra, which is star system is besieged by the Tyranids. If people don't know what the Tyranids are, they're basically the bugs from Starship Troopers and the Zerg um, from StarCraft, right? But they're like a mix of dinosaurs and bugs, right? And Tyranids are really cool, man. And they're like bioengineered like Terminators, basically, that going around planet to planet, killing everything, eating everything, and going on to the next planet, right? So like there was really cool like space fleet battles and ground forces battles, right? With the Tyranids. You even had cameos from the Death Korga Krieg, which is one of the cooler factions of the Guardsmen, right? There's also the Death Watchers there, which is an elite unit of Space Marines that work directly for the Inquisitors, right? Who are made up of Space Marines from different chapters, right? that hunt down and kill like the aliens, right? The Xeno, right? And the third and last book, Dead Sky Black Sun, is Uriel Ventress and his best friend and fellow sergeant Passinius get expelled from the chapter because of events that happened in Warriors of Ultramar, and get sent on a death oath where they're told by the librarian Tigurius, which librarians are psychers, right? Here's a librarian, right? They're like sorcerers of the Warhammer 40k, right? And gets told by the chief librarian of the Ultramar of the Ultramarines that there's like a chaos controlled planet where demons or daemons, as they're called, are spawning chaos space marines. And for like Uriel Ventress and Passinius, who were exiled from the chapter to get their honor back, they have to go out and destroy these demons, right? On the way to the planet, right? They get kidnapped by a daemon prince, which is in the shell of an iron warrior who gets into their ship during warp, because how light speed travel works in Warhammer 40k is ships have to travel through the Immaterium, right? To travel like vast distances, right? But the Immaterium's also where it's like the in-between different, it's like the space in between worlds and realities, right? And that's where the demons and chaos live, right? But usually they have special shields on ship to protect them. Somehow this demon, right, who's in the body of an iron warrior, which is like a traitor chaos space marine, like Legion, right? Kidnaps Passinius and Uriel, right, off their ship, right, and on board their daemon engine, which is like this fucking train covered in blood and bones. They travel to the planet of Menengrad, which is in the Eye of Terror, which the Eye of Terror is where all the Chaos Space Marines planets are. That the Eye of Terror is this special part of space where the veil between the Immaterium and physical space is thin. That's where demons and monsters dwell. So like they get to Menengrad, and it's a fucking hellscape. The Chaos Space Marines harvest humans as slaves and material, right? It's very Hellraiser-esque. Fucking Berserk fans would love Dead Sky Black Sun, right? And there are killer monsters, mutants, and Uriel Ventress and Passinius have to find a way to get into the enemy's stronghold and destroy the demons that are spawning Chaos Space Marines, right? While all that's happening, the Iron Warriors on Menengrad are having a civil war with each other because the main bad guy Hanzo, who's Lord of the Castle that has the demon spawn that's creating the Chaos Space Marines, is at war with his fellow Iron Warriors because he refuses to share gene seed that he stole from the Imperials, which the gene seed is the vital ingredient that turns people into Space Marines, right? Which which is one of the ways is how Chaos Space Marines, you know, are created because they steal like the gene seed from the Imperium, but they also have another method using the demon wombs, right? And Uriel meets a group of mutants and renegades, Space Marines that are also exiled from their chapters, and convinces them to go on this pretty much suicide mission to destroy, you know, the demon womb. So what did I think about this book? Okay. So I thought the action was great. Lots of action. I like the characters, right? And the world of Warhammer 40k is very you know, cool, obviously, right? Well, lots of video games, not a lot of movies and TV shows yet. Though what movies and TV shows there are suck. Like, there's a really awful Warhammer 40k movie. I forget what it's called. I think it's Warhammer 40k Space Marine or something. No, that's the video game, right? Which, obviously, if you're a fan of the video game, you can see a lot of Captain Titus and Uriel Ventress, right? Because in the end of that game, spoiler alert, he gets like arrested because he kept breaching the Codex Astartes, which is the Space Marine like rule book, right? That it's basically this Warhammer 40k version of the Art of War by Sun Tzu, right? But it's sacred with the Ultramarines because the Ultramarines wrote it, right? Which is Gulliman Robert Gulliman, my bad, right? Yeah. So yeah, the cover's great. I would say the action, lots of great action. I like the diversity of the enemies that they fight, because because one of the reasons why I stopped reading Warhammer 40k books is because like 90% of the books I was reading, it was just them like fighting like traitors or Chaos Space Marines, right? And that got boring. Here they actually fight the Dark Eldar, Necrons, Tyranids, which are awesome enemies that like should be used more, honestly, right? Because like when I read for Warhammer 40k, I want to read them fighting aliens, not always fighting Chaos. Even though Chaos as villains are great, which is probably why he used them at the bookend of the trilogy, right? But yeah, it gets a little boring. Here they actually use like the different alien races in the Warhammer 40k universe, which is great. My main problems with the book is one, the first book gets a little. There's some boring sections of the book where it goes into the politics of planets and its different leaderships and whatnot, which that shit was fucking boring, right? There was spelling errors, right? And like, you know, there should have been sections of the book where there should have been commas or wasn't commas. Very bad editing job here. The editor, like, this wasn't the worst book that I read that had like editorial problems, but yeah, that was annoying. And then another problem of this book is the constant like there's no illustrations, right, inside the book. So it's like constantly they'll reference shit and then you'll have to go look up what the fuck like the thing looks like, or like different tanks or different alien races. I'm someone who's like, even someone like me who's been in like a Warhammer 40k fan for like over 10 years, like, you know, I kind of like, I'll forget what shit looks like, and it's annoying that I'll have to go look it up or like look up terminology and shit. So yeah, that shit can be annoying, right? Especially when, like, other book series, like, I'll show you this book, for example, right? Here's a Mech Warrior book, right? And Mech Warrior is another miniature war game slash collectible miniature game, right? Here, you see they have colored sheets where they show you the different giant robots in the book, right? What they're supposed to look like and stats, right? Here, they don't do that. And you would think, hey man, like, it would have been nice if you had at least had some, like, showed, like, pictures or whatever of what some of the different races, especially the fucking Tyranids, what they're supposed to look like, right? Because constantly they would reference a Tyranid, and I would have to go look it up. And there's also the thing where it felt like you would get introduced characters, like side characters, that had no real purpose other than, that felt like they didn't really serve a purpose for the main story other than, as filler, right? Like a certain, like, Arbitus Arbiter from in the first book, who was like a police captain, right? And then, like, in the second book, you had the Hive gang, which is like cyberpunk, like, character, a cyberpunk gang, right? Like, that shit was like, okay, they just introduced, like, characters as filler for the book, right? Because you can't just have Uriel's Ventress, like, the entire, like, just, you know what I meant, right? Like, there was, like, the book would like take away from, would, like, go from the main story to, like, shit that side characters that were doing, what side characters were doing that I didn't felt like they had a purpose in the main plot. You didn't really have this problem in the third book because it mostly followed Uriel Ventress, and then, like, it would only change from his perspective to follow, like, what the villains were up to, right? But yeah, so that shit was annoying, but overall, I like this book, and I would give it, a 6.5 out of 10, which a lot of people are going to give me shit, because, like, a lot of, like, Warhammer 40k fans hate this book, this omnibus, but I think that mostly has to do with they hate the Ultramarines, and they hate Graham McNeil because he also writes the rules in the game, right? So yeah, I don't know. I like the book, and I would recommend it. I especially recommend for people who played the Warhammer 40k Space Marine video game, right? If you played that game and you like that main character, Captain Titus, then I totally recommend this book, because it's pretty obvious that Captain Titus was based off Uriel Ventress, right? Yeah, so that's it for this review, guys. We're going to take a break from book reviews to focus on comic book reviews for a while. But when we come back, our next book review is going to be the second book in the Belgrade, the Queen of Sorcery, right? Which I've been wanting to finish this series for a long time. So